it's time to tune in for my review on Getting Hitched, the last and ninth episode of Cars on the Road, which is also my third favorite one. And actually, in this videos, all we are talking about is basically covered by focusing on the characters, and that's what we are going to do in this video too, by also putting in some other things. So let's get started with talking about the relationship of Mater and his sister Mato, who is introduced in Cars on the Road, and she is the complete opposite of what we would have expected because she looks way more gentle than Mater. There is no single rust spot or crooked teeth like his cousins have. And Mater is actually anxious of meeting her. Lightning tries to take away his fright by stating that she might only be jealous because he has moved somewhere new where she has never left their humble home. That's the first joke, because when they are seeing the home, it's real big mansion, and Lightning is quite amazed, whereas Mater is just saying that it looks smaller than in his memories. However, they then meet Mato, and she is actually a kind person. However, she already starts complaining about Mater always being laid back, so that's her point, her issue with him. Whereas Mater seems to be admiring his sister all in all, but he appears to be jealous because she's always saying what she's thinking, and she likes to be good at things, and she really shows it. And that's where all this dispute starts, and it comes down to who's better. I have read that Bobby Podesta, who has written this episode along with Steve Herschel, has tried to make this relationship resemble the one he had to his three sisters, and I think it actually really worked out well, because we all know that feeling when we are mad at our siblings because they are better at something, but technically we are admiring this. On the other hand, there might also be the situation where you'd like to be as calm or as laid back as your sibling, although at the moment you're totally angry because you can't behave that way. And the interesting thing, in the end, both are realizing what they love about the other, and everything is fine again. It felt relatable watching this, and it was also quite amusing, also because of Cruz Ramirez. So she's the only returning character on that entire road trip. She has joined the wedding because her cousin is Mato's husband. She already starts off being cool at the beginning when she's greeting Lightning and Mater, and she asks for their invitation, and then Lightning says, okay, stop calling me Mr. McQueen, and she doesn't feel comfortable with saying his name, Lightning. And then he asks what she has been doing, and during her off season she has actually started another career by making many things, like founding her own racing school, and she has also become a certified referee, and she's always eagerly supporting the matches between Mater and his sister. It turns out to be 100, although we don't see all of them, of course, but she never loses her motivation, and in the end, when they are even more fighting, she states that she has some ambitions for therapies after having supported the dispute for hours. Another funny fact I'd like to mention here is that Cruz calls Mato an eccentric socialite, and Mater says, this eccentric satellite is my sister, and it was totally funny. Also in the German translation, because they've made up with that and have really found a nice thing too. So they talked about an eccentric haute volée, and Mater said an eccentric portemonnaie, which is totally amusing too. So I really like that joke a lot. Same with Mater's speed. But first, I'd like to talk about Lightning McQueen and the moral of the episode, or at least one of them. At the beginning, he's not realizing the joy of the road trip he has had with his best friend, and he is already looking forward to coming back home to Radiator Springs. But then we have an emotional speech by Mater. He talks about the fact that they only have a limited amount of time on this planet, and they should actually make the most of that time by spending it with our beloved ones. And it was really touching for me, and I almost feared that he'd leave and stay with his sister for some time in order to spend the hours he has missed in the past. However, fortunately he doesn't. But then Lightning finally realizes how great this road trip actually turned out to be, and he's appreciating his friendship with Mater and all the adventures they have had together. This is something that was quite important for me to watch because it really showed that there is something deeper in the series and in this friendship of Lightning and Mater. I think that might be the best moral of all the episodes. However, the speech then finishes with a joke to make it more funny again by Mater simply having his presidential speech that is not appropriate and at the wrong place, but it is quite fun to watch. And the last joke we are having is after the credits when Lightning is asking where Mato and Matteo are spending their honeymoon. Yeah, it's the world's largest tire maze where Lightning and Mater have also been stuck at the beginning of the road trip. This is the scene we have only quickly seen. Yeah, so what I really liked about this episode is first of all how we experience Mater's and Mato's relationship that feels relatable for anyone, I guess, who has siblings. Also, we have Cruz's return, which adds this kind of familiar atmosphere for us because basically for Mater it must be familiar to see his sister again. We do not have this feeling, but we experience it when Cruz shows up. I have to say that her appearance is one of the best in the entire show because she's Cruz again and you actually realize how much you have missed her. What I almost like the most is how Lightning has learned to have a different view on their road trip and to appreciate what they have experienced there. This was quite emotional and the entire episode is well done. It's really one of the best for sure. When you're at the end, there is so much potential for more. You have Lightning and Mater not flying back to Radiator Springs but driving, and they are already thinking about which pigs to stop, and this makes you feel eager for a second season. Lightning also teases something about his career by stating, "See you on the track racer" towards Cruz, and I think it's the perfect final for the season. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to let me know what you think about Getting Hitched and stay tuned for the next video on my channel. Bye!